Good day, everyone. Today, we will begin our discussion on economic and financial tools in agriculture. This topic is essential because it helps us analyze the financial performance, economic condition, and overall management of a farm or agribusiness. By understanding these tools, we can make better decisions, plan effectively, and ensure that agricultural operations remain financially sustainable. Meaning and importance. This slide explains what economic and financial tools are. These tools are analytical instruments used to assess the financial condition and performance of farms and agribusinesses. They combine economic theory, which focuses on how scarce resources are allocated, and financial management principles, which help us determine how money is obtained and efficiently used. In simple terms, these tools guide farmers and managers in planning, monitoring progress, and making evidence-based decisions that support profitable and sustainable farm operations. In simpler words, economic and financial tools help farmers and agricultural managers do three main things: plan future farm activities, monitor financial performance, and make informed decisions. These tools range from very basic techniques like record-keeping and budgeting to more advanced analyses such as financial ratios and cost-benefit analysis. The goal is always the same: to help farmers use their resources wisely and make choices that improve farm profitability. This slide highlights why these tools are important in agriculture. Farming is full of uncertainties. Prices change, weather fluctuates, and production outcomes are unpredictable. Because of these risks, farmers must carefully plan and manage their resources. Economic and financial tools assist in decision-making, help measure profitability, support financial planning, assess risk, evaluate investments, improve transparency, and strengthen long-term sustainability. Without these tools, farm management becomes guesswork rather than informed planning. This slide introduces the different tools commonly used in farm financial management. These include farm budgeting, record-keeping, farm accounting, inventory systems, depreciation methods, and financial statements such as balance sheets. In the next slides, we will discuss each of these tools in detail so that you can understand how they work and how they are applied in real farm situations. Farm budgeting is the expression of farm plan in monetary terms. In other words, it's a process of estimating expected costs, returns, and net profits of a farm enterprise. A farm enterprise refers to a specific crop or livestock commodity, such as rice, corn, vegetables, or cattle. By preparing a budget for each enterprise, farmers can compare alternatives, identify the most profitable options, and plan their farm operations more effectively. Types of farm budgets. This slide explains the concept of enterprise budgeting in more detail. An enterprise budget estimates all the income and expenses associated with a specific crop or livestock activity. By preparing enterprise budgets for all possible and existing farm enterprises, farmers can easily compare which options are more profitable. This allows them to choose the best combination of crops or livestock for their farm, leading to better resource allocation and higher income. This is an example of an enterprise budget, a budget for a 1-hectare rice production. An estimate of 100,000 pesos revenue with a variable costs of 24,700 pesos and a fixed costs of 16,500 pesos. There is a probability that the enterprise will have a net profit of 58,000 pesos. This explains an enterprise budget. Partial budgeting is discussed in this slide. This tool focuses on evaluating the financial effects of a minor change in the farm business. It is used when a farmer wants to adjust only one or a few activities, such as changing inputs or shifting a portion of land to a different crop. Partial budgeting helps estimate whether the proposed modification will increase or decrease overall profitability. It is practical, simple, and widely used for decisions involving input substitution, enterprise substitution, or adjusting the scale of operations. In this slide, we examine an example of partial budgeting. The scenario presents a farmer currently growing corn who is considering switching to vegetable production. To evaluate this possible change, we compare the additional costs and revenues of the new enterprise versus the current one. This example helps illustrate how partial budgeting works in real farm decision-making by showing the financial consequences of transitioning from one enterprise to another. This slide provides the summary of the partial budgeting example. It lists the gains and losses from switching to vegetable farming. The additional revenue and reduced costs total PHP 164,000. On the other hand, the additional costs and reduced revenue total PHP 107,000. By subtracting losses from gains, the net impact is PHP 57,000. This means the farmer will earn PHP 57,000 more by making the switch. This example demonstrates how useful partial budgeting is for making evidence-based decisions before changing farm practices. This slide introduces complete budgeting, which differs from partial budgeting because it considers the entire farm rather than just one part. Complete budgeting is used when a farmer wants to reorganize or overhaul the whole farm business. It estimates total farm income, expenses, and profits for all enterprises combined. This tool helps evaluate the overall performance of a complete farm plan, making it essential for long-term and large-scale planning. This slide explains the first step in complete farm planning: setting objectives and goals. Before making any plan, the farmer needs to identify short-term and long-term priorities. This may include maximizing profit, improving efficiency, or expanding operations. Objectives provide direction and help the farmer decide which enterprises or activities are most important to focus on. Without clear goals, farm planning becomes uncertain and unfocused. Second step, taking an inventory of all available resources. This includes land, labor, capital, and inputs. The farmer needs to determine the land area, soil characteristics, workforce availability, machinery, and financial resources. By listing all inputs such as seeds, fertilizer, water, and fuel, the farmer gains a clear picture of what resources are available and what is needed for future operations. This step is essential for planning realistic and achievable farm strategies. The third planning step is introduced: selecting potential enterprises. The farmer must choose which crops, livestock, or income-generating activities are most suitable for the farm's resources and goals. Factors such as climate, soil type, market demand, and production requirements must be considered. This step ensures that all chosen enterprises are practical, feasible, and aligned with the overall farm strategy. The fourth explains how farmers estimate production levels. They must forecast yields using past data, research, or expert advice to determine how much each enterprise will produce. It is also important to consider potential variations due to weather, pests, or unexpected conditions. Estimating production levels helps determine expected income and guides decisions about resource allocation. Farm planning step 5. Estimate costs. The focus is on estimating costs. There are two types: variable costs, which change depending on the level of production, and fixed costs, which remain constant. Examples of variable costs include labor, seeds, fertilizer, fuel, and irrigation. Fixed costs include land rent, equipment depreciation, insurance, and taxes. Accurately estimating these costs ensures that the farm budget is realistic and helps determine whether a planned enterprise will be profitable. Farm planning step 6. Estimate revenue. Here we discuss how to estimate revenue. To do this, farmers must research current and historical market prices for their crops or livestock. Once prices are identified, they multiply the projected yield by the expected market price to get total revenue. This step is necessary because it gives the farmer an estimate of future income based on realistic market conditions. Accurate revenue estimation allows the farmer to judge whether the enterprise or the entire farm operation will generate enough returns to cover costs and achieve financial goals. Farm planning step 7. Develop the farm budget. Explains how the farm budget is developed. First, enterprise budgets are prepared for each individual crop or livestock activity. These budgets list all expected costs and revenues for that specific enterprise. After all enterprise budgets are prepared, they are combined to create a whole farm budget. This provides a complete financial picture of the farming operation. By having both enterprise level and whole farm budgets, farmers can clearly see which activities are profitable and how they contribute to the overall financial health of the farm. Farm planning step 8. Analyze profitability. We look at how profitability is analyzed. The farmer calculates the net profit by subtracting total costs from total revenue. This shows whether the enterprise or the entire farm plan is financially successful. Additionally, break-even analysis is used to determine the minimum yield or price needed to cover costs. This information is extremely important because it helps the farmer identify critical thresholds and avoid financial losses. Proper profitability analysis guides better decision-making and helps ensure that farm operations remain viable. This slide introduces sensitivity analysis, a tool that helps farmers understand how changes in key variables, such as yield, price, or input costs, affect the financial outcome. Since agriculture is uncertain, sensitivity analysis allows farmers to prepare for different scenarios such as low yields, higher production costs, or sudden price drops. By examining these possibilities, farmers can identify potential risks and develop strategies to minimize financial damage. It is an important component of good farm planning. Farm planning step 10. Implement the plan. Once the budget is prepared and analyzed, the next step is implementation. In this slide, the focus is on allocating resources such as labor, capital, and inputs based on the decisions made in the budgeting process. The farmer then monitors progress throughout the production cycle, keeping track of expenses, yields, and revenues. Implementation is where the planned activities are put into actual operation, and careful monitoring ensures that the farm stays on track financially. Farm planning step 11. Review and revise the budget. Emphasizes the importance of reviewing and revising the budget. As the production season progresses, actual results may differ from what was originally planned. By comparing actual performance with budgeted figures, the farmer can identify variances and adjust the budget accordingly. This ensures that the farm remains responsive to changing conditions, whether due to market price changes, weather issues, or unexpected expenses. Revising the budget helps maintain financial stability and improves future planning accuracy. Farm planning step 12. Evaluate outcomes. The final step of the farm planning process is discussed, evaluating outcomes. At the end of the season, the farmer assesses the overall financial performance of the farm by comparing revenues, costs, and net profits. This evaluation identifies strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement. The insights gained from this step guide better decisions in future seasons. Evaluation is essential because it closes the planning loop and strengthens the entire budgeting process. This slide introduces farm records and accounts, another important economic and financial tool. Accurate record keeping is the foundation of sound farm management. Records help farmers track income, expenses, production activities, inventories, and financial performance. They also provide essential information for decision-making, loan applications, and evaluating farm profitability. In the next slides, we will examine the purpose, types, and components of farm records. In this slide, we see the main purposes of farm records. Farm records help measure profit and assess the overall financial condition of the business. They also allow farmers to compare present performance with past years or across different enterprises. Records support loan applications, investment analysis, compliance with legal requirements, and the management of daily operations. In short, good farm records provide the information needed for effective financial planning and decision-making. This slide presents the two major types of farm records that every farm business must maintain. First are the operating or physical records, which include farm maps, layouts, labor records, tools, equipment, machinery lists, production logs, and marketing records. These provide information about daily operations and productivity. Second are the financial records, which include the farm inventory record, farm earnings statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. These documents help measure financial performance and guide important business decisions. Keeping both types of records ensures that the farm is managed efficiently and transparently. In this slide, we focus on the farm inventory record. This is a complete list of all the assets owned by the farm at a specific point in time, along with their value. Taking an inventory at the beginning of the accounting year provides a baseline, while the inventory at the end of the year helps measure changes in asset value. The farm inventory is considered the cornerstone of record-keeping because it forms the basis for financial statements and helps determine the true financial condition of the farm. This slide explains what is included in a farm inventory. It contains a detailed list of real estate, livestock, equipment, feed, supplies, and growing crops. Real estate includes land, buildings, fences, water and electrical systems, and other improvements. Land is categorized into cropland, pasture, forest, and wasteland. Machinery and equipment listings include all tools and farm machines. Livestock are listed according to classes such as milk cows, heifers, calves, sows, hogs, beef cattle, and poultry. Feeds and supplies include hay, silage, grains, fertilizers, seeds, and other materials. All items must be described and recorded carefully. Livestock include a detailed list of all classes of animals. The milk cows are listed by names or number and are distinguished from the heifers, calves, and bulls. Brood sows and raised market hogs, beef cows and raised feeders, breeding ewes and lambs, hens, broilers, and other poultry should be listed separately. Feeds and supplies on hand include all feeds, such as hay, silage, grains, straw, and all mill feeds. Supplies include items such as fertilizers, lime, herbicide, pesticides, seeds, posts not set, woods, and other materials. To be more useful in a record-keeping system, the inventory must be in monetary value. In this slide, we see that farm inventory must be expressed in monetary value for it to be useful in financial analysis. Two key processes are involved: physical counting and valuation. Physical counting means listing and describing each item and recording its quantity. Valuation means assigning a monetary value to each asset based on an appropriate method. These processes ensure that the farm inventory reflects accurate and realistic values, which are essential for preparing financial statements and making informed decisions. This slide discusses two important principles in valuing inventory: conservatism and consistency. Conservatism means being cautious and avoiding overestimating the value of assets. This prevents unrealistic expectations and protects the farm from appearing more financially strong than it truly is. Consistency, on the other hand, means using the same valuation method from year to year. This allows for reliable comparisons between different accounting periods and avoids misleading financial trends. Both concepts strengthen the credibility of the farm's financial records. In this slide, we begin the discussion of valuation methods. The net selling price or net market price method is used for items primarily held for sale, such as market livestock, harvested crops, seeds, and financial assets like bonds or stocks. The value is determined by subtracting marketing costs such as transportation or commissions from the market price. This method reflects the actual amount the farmer would receive if the item is sold, making it practical for evaluating marketable assets. This slide also explains the cost or purchase price valuation method. It is used for items that were bought recently and for which the original cost is still known, such as fertilizers, feeds, chemicals, and veterinary supplies. This method is simple because it values the item based on what was actually paid. It is most appropriate when market price changes are minimal or when the item has not yet undergone significant use or deterioration. In this slide, we learn about the cost or market price method, which assigns the lower of the item's cost or its current market price. This method prevents recording paper profits, meaning unrealized gains due to rising prices. Instead, it ensures losses from declining market value are recognized immediately. This method is commonly used for breeding livestock or other assets that may fluctuate in value depending on market conditions. This slide also introduces the farm production cost method. This method is used for valuing items produced within the farm itself, such as raised livestock or standing crops. The value is based on the actual production cost, excluding profit or opportunity cost. This method provides a realistic estimate of the asset's cost without exaggerating its value. It is especially important for internal farm-produced goods that are not yet sold. In this slide, we discuss a valuation method commonly used for long-term assets such as buildings, tools, machinery, and equipment. These assets lose value over time due to wear and tear, use, and obsolescence. The value recorded in inventory is calculated as the original cost minus accumulated depreciation. This is known as the book value. It gives a realistic estimate of the asset's remaining useful value at any given time. Now, in this slide, we turn our attention to depreciation. Depreciation refers to the annual decrease in the value of an asset due to wear and tear, usage, or obsolescence. In other words, when we use a machine, a building, or equipment year after year, it naturally loses value. Depreciation allows us to record that loss in value accurately. It is important because it affects the farm's financial statements, especially when determining the true cost of operating the business. Any asset that has a useful life of more than 1 year, has a limited lifespan, and is used to generate income is subject to depreciation. In this slide, we discuss the straight-line method of depreciation, which is the most widely used because of its simplicity. Under this method, the asset loses the same amount of value every year for its entire useful life. To compute annual depreciation, we subtract the salvage value, the estimated value at the end of its life, from the original cost, and then divide it by the asset's useful life. The result gives us the yearly depreciation expense. This method is ideal for assets that provide a uniform level of service each year, such as buildings or fences. This slide introduces the declining balance method, which results in higher depreciation expenses in the early years and lower expenses in the later years. It uses a constant depreciation rate applied to the book value of the asset. Because the book value decreases every year, the amount of depreciation also decreases. This method is best suited for assets like vehicles and tractors, which tend to lose value more rapidly during their first few years of use. In this slide, another method is presented, the sum of the year's digits method. This is also an accelerated depreciation method, meaning it assigns larger depreciation amounts in the earlier years and smaller amounts later. The method uses a fraction where the numerator is the remaining useful life and the denominator is the sum of all the years of the asset's useful life. This method provides a more realistic decline in value for assets that depreciate quickly at the beginning, making it useful for motorized or high-wear equipment. This slide also reminds us that the most appropriate depreciation method depends on the asset. Machinery and vehicles lose value rapidly at first, so the declining balance or SYD method is more suitable. On the other hand, buildings and structures provide uniform service over time, so straight-line depreciation is more accurate. The goal is to match the depreciation method with how the asset actually loses value in real use. This is the sample farm inventory worksheet. First column is the item purchased. Second column is the beginning inventory of the year determined by the quantity of the equipment used and its monetary value, and so on the third column, the ending inventory. In this slide, we introduce the balance sheet, one of the most important financial statements in farm management. A balance sheet shows what the farm owns, its assets, and what it owes, its liabilities, at a specific point in time. It also shows the owner's equity. Think of it as a financial snapshot of the farm. Lenders often require a balance sheet when reviewing loan applications because it helps them assess a farm's financial solvency and overall stability. It follows the basic accounting equation: assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. This slide explains when balance sheets are prepared. Although they can be completed anytime, they are usually prepared at the end of the accounting period, often on December 31st. This allows the same document to serve as both the end-of-year report for one period and the beginning-of-year statement for the next. For analysis, it is necessary to have both beginning and ending balance sheets so that changes in financial condition can be measured accurately over time. This slide presents the standard format of a balance sheet. It includes the name of the farm and the date of preparation. The balance sheet lists assets and liabilities in order of liquidity, or how quickly items can be converted to cash. Concludes with owner's equity. Using a consistent format ensures clarity and helps compare financial performance across different years. In this slide, we begin analyzing the balance sheet. The purpose of balance sheet analysis is to assess the financial condition of the farm at a specific point in time. Two major aspects are evaluated: solvency and liquidity. Solvency measures how much of the farm's assets are financed by debt versus owner's equity. giving us an idea of the long-term financial strength of the business. Liquidity, on the other hand, measures the farm's ability to meet short-term financial obligations as they become due without disrupting normal operations. A strong balance sheet reflects a farm that is stable, financially healthy, and prepared for risks. In this slide, the focus is on one of the key liquidity measures, the current ratio. The current ratio is computed by dividing current assets by current liabilities. A value greater than 1.0 is preferred because it means the farm has more current assets than current obligations. A value equal to 1.0 indicates that assets exactly match liabilities, leaving no safety margin for unexpected costs or price changes. The current ratio allows farmers to assess whether they can handle short-term expenses such as input purchases, loan payments, or emergency needs. In this slide also, we look at working capital, another important liquidity indicator. Working capital is calculated as current assets minus current liabilities. It tells us how much money remains available after paying off short-term debts. Positive working capital reflects good financial health, meaning the farm can continue operating without cash flow problems. Negative working capital signals financial stress and may require adjustments in spending, borrowing, or enterprise planning. Working capital helps farmers understand their immediate financial flexibility. This slide presents the first solvency ratio, the debt-asset ratio. It is computed by dividing total liabilities by total assets. The result shows what portion of the farm's assets is financed through debt. A lower ratio is better because it means the business has less financial risk. A value of 1.0 indicates that all assets are financed by debt, leaving the farmer with no equity. This ratio helps assess the long-term stability and borrowing capacity of the farm. In this slide also, we discuss the equity-asset ratio, which measures what portion of total assets belongs to the owner rather than creditors. It is computed by dividing total equity by total assets. Higher values indicate stronger financial stability because more of the business is owned outright by the farmer. A value of 1.0 would mean zero liabilities, while very low values indicate the farm is highly leveraged. This ratio is essential in understanding financial independence. This slide explains the debt-equity ratio, also known as the leverage ratio. It compares the amount of financing provided by lenders versus the amount provided by the owner. This is calculated by dividing total liabilities by owner's equity. Lower values are preferred because they indicate lower reliance on borrowed funds. A high debt-equity ratio signals higher financial risk and may make lenders hesitant to approve additional loans. In this slide also, we examine the net capital ratio, which is calculated as total assets divided by total liabilities. A value of 2.0 is often considered the minimum safe level, meaning assets are twice as large as liabilities. This ratio shows long-term solvency, or the farm's ability to meet all its debts if assets were liquidated. A ratio of 1.0 indicates zero equity and unstable financial conditions. In this slide, we discuss the debt structure ratio, which measures the percentage of total liabilities that are current liabilities. This ratio indicates how much of the debt must be paid within the next year. Smaller values are preferred because they show that only a small portion of obligations are due immediately. Higher values suggest heavy short-term financial pressure, which can strain cash flow and disrupt operations. Understanding debt structure helps farmers prepare better repayment strategies. And that's pretty much it. Thank you, class, for listening. Ciao. This presentation was prepared by me, Jed, your instructor. See you.